97.9, 105.5 KISS FM. It's Big Poppa and Banna in the morning. On the Lennon's Jewelers hotline, this is, and Banna, you know that, we're huge on like the local, supporting local.
Absolutely.
And the feel-good stories of people that were born here and raised here and go do really cool things. I just found out about Rich Talarico earlier this week. Born and raised in beautiful downtown Frankfort, New York. And now he's won a Peabody Award. He just got nominated for another Emmy for being a writer for Key and Peele, and he's worked on all kinds of shows. I had no idea. Rich Talarico is on the Lennon's Jewelers hotline. Rich, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Gary. Good morning. How's it going?
Good, man. Thank you so much for the time and waking up early and whatnot. All right, so I gotta ask right off how in the hell does somebody from Frankfurt end up writing for Key and Peele?
Yeah, that's a big question right there.
because we're talking about this and we're promoting the fact that you're coming on and that's the whole. Wait, what? Someone from here is writing for really? And maybe this is egotistical of me, but I can't believe you've flown under my radar for so long just because the people come to me with these kind of stories. So number one, congratulations on everything so far. But how, seriously though, how do you go from Frankfurt? Because you graduated from Frankfurt, right?
Yeah, back in 1991, I graduated about in the middle of my class from Frankfurt High School. That's right.
That's incredible.
And I started with the high school musicals. I got involved thanks to Kathy Seraphin, my English teacher. She was running the musicals, and my art teacher Joe Talarico, who actually spells his name differently, different name, but was really influential. Nothing really appealed to me in school until performance, and until I had that chance. And I think that's why it's so important to support the arts, because without them, we're doomed, I think.
It's funny, Rich, you're preaching to the choir because I was in the Rhythm Lights when I was in high school. So like the only thing exactly. So the only thing that kept my interest was performing and singing and whatnot. And that's the only thing, you said you graduated middle of the class. Bro, I was like in the bottom barrel. I was granted, I got picked last for gym class. I would have gotten picked last for academics too, unless it involved the arts. And then I was the all-star. You know what I'm saying? So it's nice to hear that from somebody, because that absolutely fed your thirst for what you want to do later on.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, fine art classes also teach you how to finish a project, teach you how to budget your time and getting something done. The arts are more important than just making an ashtray. That's not really what it's about. So I'm grateful that we had those programs and kind of opened that up for me, and it led me to Second City in Chicago. I moved there in late 1900s, and I took my first improv classes there, and I studied with Stephen Colbert, was my first teacher.
Oh, geez.
And just kind of landed right in a great place, and just went from one thing to the next. I did about 10 years at Second City. I was an actor there, 5 years at Second City, but 10 years in Chicago.
Awesome.
And then eventually got into the writing thing, and just started bouncing around doing that.
And again, we're talking to Rich Talarico, Frankfurt native, on the Lennon's Jewelers hotline. And we're talking about the writing thing. He's written for Mad TV. He's written for SNL. The Tonight
Tina Fey too. You said,
yeah.
Right?
You did Second City with Fey, right?
Yeah, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, Rachel Dratch, Jack McBrayer, Horatio Sands.
Oh, that's
they came through quite a good class of people, and a lot of people came through Second City and still do and still are. So Second City for years has been the launching pad for a lot of folks.
Absolutely. We're talking to Rich Talarico on the Lennon's Jewelers hotline. You can follow him on Twitter at Rich Talarico, and also the website richtalarico.com. Talk to me because what came on my radar is the fact you got nominated for the Emmy with Key and Peele, but you're also writing for Review with Forrest McNeil that the second season debuts tonight on Comedy Central, right?
Yes, thank you, Gary. Yes, tonight on the Comedy Central, you can see Review, which is a very funny show by Andy Daly, who was on Eastbound and Down and a bunch of stuff. You definitely recognize this guy. He's got his own show, And it's very funny. It's about a guy who's a reviewer who does not review food, books, or movies, reviews life itself. So it's a fictitious show, obviously, but people write in and, give him challenges, and he has to go do them, whatever they are. And actually, in tonight's episode, you'll see me very briefly but significantly in the premiere of season 2.
That's very cool. And I went to your website, and I saw the clip that you posted on your website. And I'm going to be honest, I've never watched Review, but what you posted, I literally sat here and laughed out loud.
It looks hysterical.
Yeah, Rich,
awesome.
And you know how it is, man. I mean, you're in comedy, you write it, when stuff's funny and what isn't. So it's a rarity when you actually get taken by surprise and something actually makes you laugh out loud. And I'm in the same boat here because Ben and I do this radio show every single day. And, not much makes me like bust out. And the trailer absolutely made me bust out.
Well, great. That's big props to Andy because that's his show. And, I think it's hilarious. I joined them in the second season. I'm so proud to have been a part of it. And I think people will know the show very soon. Just when I first started working at Key and Peele, people didn't, would react. And they'd say, what is it? You have to spell it. You're like key, like a door key. Peel, like peel, you have to explain it. And then as the years went on, people would be like, I've heard of that.
Right.
And now the reactions are, Key and Peele, I love that show.
Exactly. So it just kind of grows organically.
I think Review's going to find their audience. It's a kind of a cult hit now. It's done very well with the critics, and the audience is just catching on to it. So thanks for talking about it, and I hope people will check it out, too.
Absolutely. It's tonight on Comedy Central. The show is called Review. We're talking to Rich Talarico on the Lennon Jewelers Hotline. Frankfurt native, who is Peabody Award-winning writer, Emmy-nominated writer. Do you get to go to the Emmys?
Yeah, last year we went to the Creative Arts Emmys, and our category, does not make it because that main ceremony would be like 9 hours long.
Right.
So they don't always show every category. And some of the writing categories, I guess, alternate year by year. But I'm told this year we'll be there, and we're up for a couple of different awards. The show is up, I think, for a total of 8 awards or something like that.
That's
so
cool.
I'm very pumped and just thrilled to even be nominated and thrilled to be working with Key and Peele. And I worked with them in Second City. That's how I met them. Way back in the day.
It's funny because and correct me if I'm wrong, Rich. The way that show business works, it's a lot kind of like radio and just business in general, because you've been working with Key and Peele for so long, and the way you got your foot in the door is because you knew them from before, and they liked you and trusted you and whatnot, and that's kind of how it is in show business. Like Adam Sandler's is a huge example because he ends up using like the same core of people because it's a trust thing.
Every time,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, sure. I think if I'm writing a show now for another network. I'm writing a new thing for them, and as we're talking about who I would involve, of course, my radar goes to people that I've worked with and people I understand how they work, and it just makes sense.
Absolutely,
so, sure.
it's a comfort level kind of a thing. It's not like, and granted, every once in a while people go off the reservation because they want to try something new with somebody different. But especially with something as delicate as comedy, because everything from the way you word stuff to timing and the premise, that's all very delicate when it comes to that kind of stuff. So you got to have that comfort level before you even go there.
Sure. And if you were going to do a new project, Gary, I'm sure you would pull from people you have had success with in the past. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's not just a matter of, knowing somebody. It wouldn't just be, hey, I know this person. It's like, well, I know this person and I like what they do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Talking to Rich Talarico on the Lennon Jewelers Hotline, Frankfurt native and writer for Key and Peele and writer for season 2 of Review on Comedy Central. The season premiere is tonight, so make sure you check that out. Is it weird, or let me ask you this, because you said you've done stuff on your own and also you've been doing the writing thing. Is it harder to write for somebody else?
Well, no, not necessarily. I think at the end of the day, if you're writing a script, it's got, the script has a certain responsibility to convey, the comedy that you're trying to convey or the message or whatever it is. So I don't think so. I mean, there are times when you write something and you might get it and, there's a translation problem of making sure someone gets it. With Key and Peele, it's incredibly easy. Those guys are so talented that often you'll turn something in, and when you see the finished product, you're like, shoot, I wrote that. They elevate your material so much. They're so talented. So it really depends, but it can be. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but it can be.
That's awesome. Let me ask you this: has there been a time where it's like, wow, I can't put? Because I would imagine at this point, because you've been doing this for so long, and you've worked with so many different people, coming up through the ranks and whatnot. What was the time where you were like, oh damn, I can't believe I'm here right now? Because there had to have been like that moment for you, right?
Zone.
It's funny. I guess as you get older and the more you do it, I've been doing this over 20 years at this point. But I remember early on, one of the first people I met, this is going back, way back, I met George Wendt through Second City. I got to meet Martin Short through Second City. Those are kind of the first, egg cracking over your head moments of like, wow. I watched Cheers for years growing up, and here I am, talking to Norm. Sure. Very, very casually, at a wedding or something. So it can be jarring, but I think after a while, it all the weirdness of it all kind of becomes the normal.
Sure, absolutely. Rich Talarico on the Lennon Jewelers Hotline. The Emmys are at the end of August, so congratulations.
September 20th. Okay, on Fox.
I apologize about that. So
no worries.
Yeah, just ruined. I just messed up his big, Emmy nomination thing. So, whatever.
Not at all.
So,
but I want to give a shout out to my nephews, Chris, Ryan, and Max in Frankfurt.
Oh, absolutely. Do you come home often?
I'm doing something with Mad Magazine now, so I do get to New York once in a while, and I come up from the city if I can, and I just saw those guys in June. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, well, Rich, number one, we got to have you on, again, whenever you have something
Definitely,
coming up, anytime. And whenever, give us a heads up when you're coming home, because we'd love to have you in studio. We just moved into a brand new state-of-the-art studio. We'd love to have you in and have you in for the morning and just, hang out for a couple hours and pick your brain a little bit. I think that'd be fun.
Awesome, Gary. Anytime, man. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for having me on.
Rich, let me tell you something. Anytime that someone born and raised here in Central New York, goes on to do things of note, things that are cool, things that most people think. Now, here's the thing, and Ben and I, Ben is from Daldrum, I'm from Holland Patton, and I went to HCCC. All right, so to have someone who's born and raised just like us go on and do things that most people from here be like, oh, I can't do that. I'm from Central New York. That's not true.
It's not.
And that's why I wanted to make sure I had you on the show and highlight what you've accomplished so far and the fact that, you're still doing things and moving forward and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Thanks, Gary. I agree. And, anybody out there that thinks they can't, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Rich Talarico, Frankfurt native. Review on Comedy Central tonight. Follow him on Twitter at Rich Talarico. Rich, thank you so much for the time. We definitely appreciate it.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you very soon, I hope.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We're going to break, come back. Big Poppa Banna on KISS FM.